David, here we are in the underneath the west enclosure after the Bialystok game. We can talk about game of two halves. There's one of the players interviewed said this is breakaway goals have been our kit tonight in the last four games. The manager, I thought, was pretty subdued, very careful with his words, almost apologetic, and buying himself some time about new signings coming in. First half, I think the warning signs were there with the breakaways that Bialystok were creating. Started off with three at the back. Obviously, Derek McInnes has talked about changing to four at the back to give us a bit more. Instead of having two wing backs, two wingers. Where do you think you got it wrong today?
Well, he's right in fact in stating that in the first half we were quite open. He's right that there were gaps in between our three centre backs, and he's right in terms of the Polish team really could have scored in the first half. But I thought overall in the first half, having three players in the middle of the park and having two wingers gave us a threat that we hadn't had all season yet. The two wingers were beating their man, they were hitting the byline, we created more chances in the first 45 minutes than I think we've had in 90 minutes in previous games this season. I was surprised to see the change that was made at half time, and I'm even more surprised now that I've heard the manager say that it was tactical, because I assumed it must have been forced through injury. Asgard didn't play particularly well, I agree with that, but I think if I was going to take him off I would have kept the same shape, because it was dominating the ball, and it was getting forward, and it was creating chances. I think that the change of shape meant that we had players playing in an unfamiliar position. So Ross McCrory's never going to be a left back. I mean, there's a debate whether he's a right back, but he's certainly not a left back. I felt that we started the second half with no tempo, with no aggression, we weren't sure what we were doing. We gave them the initiative. And once they scored, there was still, 25 minutes to go or thereabouts. We never really looked at imposing ourselves again after that. The manager's talked about it's a team that makes bad decisions, they have no experience. I think he's probably right in terms of that. I think there's a lot of young players in the team. But that was a team that Rangers should be beating. And it's sad to see how far we have fallen, how quickly. And there doesn't seem a lot of sign yet that we're getting out of this hole we're in.
Their goal, the manager said that people should simply have committed a foul to break it up. The ball came out to the left wing, cross in, header goes in. In the second half, I don't think I made a note in the first 10 minutes. It was almost a nothing game. But one feature of the Rangers game I thought was it was like pass the parcel responsibility in the box. It was pass, which almost inevitably meant possession, or we were reduced to long-range speculative shots from outside the box. Too early to call for the head of Shankland, but neither Shankland nor Nadiri did too well today, did they? Although when Majowski came on, he'd a chance towards the end. I think actually in the 89th minute or so.
Yeah, Majowski had a decent chance for a header, a couple of minutes to go. I don't know whether this sounds harsh, but I think although the signing of Shankland was absolutely the obvious thing to do, and I think most of us agreed with it, I think him coming into the team has given us a problem in terms of what shape to play. I don't think he can play up front himself. I think he's got the mobility for that, which means that we're playing two up front, and by playing two up front we're surrendering the midfield too much. I personally think that the shape that Derek McInnes is playing in the second half today wasn't 4-4. Everyone's calling it 4-4-2. I think it's 4-2-4 because it's two wingers. There's only two midfield players. Basically, I'm still playing with four forwards. If I go back to the previous 4-4-2 that I used to watch years ago, Dick Advocat, Walter Smith, they tended to only have one winger, and they had an actual midfield player on the other side who would tuck in when you lost possession, which gave you three in the middle again. I think we are short in midfield in the system that he's playing, and we're not dominating the ball, we're not creating enough, And I think until we sort the problem of what the best formation is, we're going to keep struggling.
Well, thank you, David, for those words of wisdom. Hopefully the manager watches this and takes some action for the weekend. Thanks for
Thank you.
your work tonight.